Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this C40 press conference. My name is Simon Reddy. I'm the Executive Director of the C40. And before moving to a Q&A session, which I encourage you all to engage in, I would just like to introduce the mayors and the secretaries that form our panel this morning. We have David Miller, the Mayor of Toronto and currently the Chair of the C40. We have Edward Yao, the Secretary for the Environment for Hong Kong. We have Michael Bloomberg, the Mayor of New York and the Chair-elect of the C40. We have John Liu, who is the City Controller for New York City. And we have Mayor Amos Masondo, who is the Mayor of Johannesburg. And if I can ask people to come up and we take questions from the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We won't have introductory remarks today, except for me. And the purpose of my introductory remarks is just to say the floor is open for questions. And because I'm the chair for another 24 hours until it's handed over to Mayor Bloomberg, I will be happy to coordinate the questions and steer them to the right people. So thank you very much for being here. We're very proud of the work of the C40 group of cities leading the fight against climate change, and very pleased to be in Hong Kong. And I do want to acknowledge and thank the leadership of your Secretary for the Environment, who's done terrific work here in Hong Kong and is undergoing a significant public consultation at the moment around your climate action plan. We're happy to take questions. Yes. If you could identify yourself and the organization you represent, it would help those of us who are from around the world.
Thank you, Mayor Miller. I'm Lo Yiping from Tencent, QQ.com from China. The question I raised to Mayor Miller yesterday about Mayor Bloomberg, so to be fair, I raised to you directly today. You know that you are very have a great impact of the U.S. Political sector. As everyone knows that recent election seems to be it's not a very good signal for the China-U.S. cooperations, because maybe more tough policy will be launched. So if I quote you, Mayor Miller, you are not very optimistic of the COP16 later this month. How about your opinion? Do you think you can use your impact, both you are the mayor of New York and you are the new chairman of a C40, to make the more harmony atmosphere for cooperation? Can you bring this atmosphere to the COP16? Thank you.
Well, I don't know that the election has anything to do with American-China relationships. America and China are two of the largest economies in the world. America first, China's catching up very rapidly. Our economic futures are intertwined. Neither of us could survive without the other. We both import and export to each other an enormous amount. And no matter what the government is in America, Americans understand that. And I don't think you should read into the elections anything in terms of our foreign relations. The president is still the president. The Secretary of State is still the Secretary of State. Congress still has the same responsibility to do what's right for America and the world. And I am optimistic that the relations between China and America will continue to grow. Yes, both countries have their own internal problems, and their governments have a responsibility to satisfy the demands of their people. China is a country that has made enormous progress. America is still a country, the land of the free and the home of the brave, and has certainly shown itself to be a great citizen of the world. And together, I think you will see relations continue on. There'll be normal back and forth. There'll be disagreements, but on balance, both these countries understand they have to work together, and both these countries understand they have to have a pro-environmental agenda. They are the two biggest economies. They're also the two of the biggest polluters of the world and have two of the largest populations, and we all have to do something about making sure we have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. We also have to have commerce so that both countries can find jobs for their people.
So, well, I think the mayor made his comments. Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Santa Raymond, Observer, and the Journal of the Royal Institute of British Architects. Two very short questions. One, what are your countries and your cities doing about educating specialists to implement all that we're talking about over these days? Because there isn't enough labor anywhere, not enough knowledge. Question number 2, what are each one of you doing on a daily basis, personally, towards improving the climate situation?
Okay. So we'll answer that in sequence. I think I'll go last.
Very good question. I think the major challenge to city is to have sufficient consensus support for any low-carbon policy to move ahead. Hong Kong is no exception. Typically, measures we have taken, particularly to the 2 themes related to this conference, building energy efficiency and electric vehicles, is not just something that we talked about, it's something that is in action. I mentioned in the conference the $450 million project, which involved now 8,000 buildings, 4,000 of which is already doing something, another 4,000 on the queue. It's a big public campaign. And EV, for instance, is something that, well, is so visible in Hong Kong. So I think actions speak louder than words. And perhaps, let me quote that 2 weeks ago, there was a study commissioned by a bank in Hong Kong asking people what's their top concern. And a bit out of our expectation, climate change, according to a 2-week survey done recently, is topping #1 in Hong Kong. So that's the major concern. Of course, there is a lot of room to be improved because, well, going deeper into the question, people know that climate change is hurting us and that they need to pay attention to. But at the same time, there may not be sufficient understanding on the intricacy in between. So that says we've still got something more to do. And that's why having an international conference in Hong Kong together with our local consultation is so important. Thank you.
Well, in terms of doing something myself, what came to mind right away is I take the subway to work every day. So my carbon footprint, I suppose, is relatively low. But seriously, I think one of the things that we've discovered in America is that it's very good business to be environmentally friendly. One of the ways that we recruit people in our company, my company, or in our city government is to point out all of the environmental measures we take. And it really is a very big plus in getting young people out of college to come to work for us, both in the private sector and in the public sector.